First of all, you should learn how to pose. Start practicing the lat spread and back double biceps. Once you master this, or at least get better at doing it, you'll notice that your mind-muscle connection improves for all back exercises. I don't care if it's a pull-up, a row, even a pullover, you'll feel the muscles doing their job. Because oftentimes I see guys pulling with the arms way too much, turning the exercise into a forearm and bicep builder. Now look, I'm not telling you to squeeze the muscles for every single set or use a very light weight with a slow tempo. I just want you to use proper form. That's all. And the people who struggle to do that often have trouble feeling their backs. Maybe that's what an arm dominant lifter is, in addition to having not the right structure, but I digress. Listen, if after doing a set of pull-ups, you don't feel like you could fucking fly, there's a problem. If your back ain't pumped to the max, if you don't feel the blood in the muscles, there is a legitimate issue. And I found that just learning to contract the back at home is very helpful. Same thing for guys who want to build their pecs. They squeeze at home. They start doing the pec bounce. Same philosophy here. So start with that, and then any other exercise you do will be greatly improved. So I don't need to give you a tutorial. I don't have to say, okay, these techniques are going to solve everything. No, learn how to contract the back first, and then we can start talking about form. Though if you want another bro-tastic tip, start pulling with these fingers, okay? Now that'll bring me on to my next point. You can't baby the back. Too many guys are chest and arm bros. They focus so much on the front, but on the rear, they're weak as hell. And they wonder why they're struggling to grow. They wonder why the mass and the width ain't there. I'll tell you this, I knew a guy in my gym that could bench 315, and he was barbell rowing 135, struggling like crazy. And it's not because he was incorporating timed attention. He wasn't squeezing or using a slow tempo. No, he was legitimately struggling like a novice. And this is quite common, to be honest with you. In fact, there are a lot of people that are intermediate in the pressing muscles, novice in the lower, plus the pulls. Hell, I even created a novice intermediate program hybrid for this exact reason. People have strength imbalances. And the case of the back, what lifters don't understand, at least a lot of them, is the fact that your strength potential is insane. It's so fucking high. Out of all the muscle groups that exist, I would say back and legs are the two areas that allow you to really push it for years to come with minimal plateaus. Like, this is the area that people can look at you and say, God damn, you can really build a nice yoke with a great V-taper to follow up. You just gotta train properly and raise your strength standards. You can't just be doing rows of 135 unless you've built that potential. But it starts with the basics, man. Can you at least deadlift 4 plates for 1 rep max? See, I know there's a lot of glutes, hamstrings, spine rectors, but fuck, that's a basic standard. Can you at least do 5-10 body weight pull-ups? Can you do 45 pounds? That's not a difficult weight to achieve. Can you max out the dumbbell stack? Like, this is basic stuff. And once you achieve that, already a large percentage of your back gains will be acquired, but it's not everything. Then you got to go beyond. Like, do you think you're going to be small if you have a 600-pound deadlift with, say, a 135 weighted pull-up, and let's say 300-pound cheat row for reps? I say cheat because no one's going to legitimately be like 100% flawless, right? Obviously, you're going to be huge. And that's the bottom line for natural lifters. If you want to get huge, you got to get strong, or at least induce progressive overload to a certain extent. And that can be done with a higher volume approach. I'm not telling you to do singles and triples. Like, I don't know how guys come up with that conclusion based off the fact that you want to raise your strength standards. Like, you can get very strong with classic bodybuilder set and rep parameters, but the work must be put in. You can't be babying these muscles, man. Stop looking for the easy way out all the time. And stop doing exercises that are fucking easy as shit. Do exercise that you're terrible at. Do movements that actually have legitimate strength standards behind them. Stop hiding behind these machines, bruh. Nothing wrong with them. They're great when used in the right way, which I'm going to talk about later. But focus on the fundamentals, please. That's how you're going to get huge. And all the best naturals that I've seen have strong backs, period. Now, since we're on the topic of programming, I'm also going to say that you should maximize the system. That means you should include a pull of some type. It could be a block pull, a deadlift, a rack pull. I don't care what it is. Then you want to do a vertical pull. I'm going to recommend weighted pull-ups combined with a horizontal. Your classic barbell row, pendlay row is great for this. Then you want to do a shrug. In addition to neck work, all this is combined. It gives you the best results possible. Why would you skip out on any of these things if your back is lagging? And by including all these movements and raising your strength holistically, You ensure the best general strength, which means the best size gains. And on top of that, you'll fulfill one of the rules that I want to talk about right now. Doing double the work for the rear compared to the front. See, a lot of guys are going to recommend 1-to-1. So every push, you want to do a pull, right? I'm going to say for every push, you want to do 2 pulls. That is going to be extremely helpful because for one, your back can take a lot of punishment. It's not difficult to achieve this whatsoever. And secondly, if you're lagging, you might as well prioritize in this way. And it just so happens that by running a maximized system, you're automatically fulfilling this rule. So you're leaving no weak links behind and you're getting the appropriate volume that you need to succeed. Really trying to shoot for that maximum recoverable volume. And I'm going to make more videos on that as well because I do think it's an important concept. Now, besides the training itself and what you could do within the workout, there's another thing that I'm going to recommend, which is to up your rowing. This is an excellent tip that I learned from Josh Bryant. He says that you should row 5 times a week using a low stress variation. This way it acts as active recovery in addition to correcting weak links and ensuring that your upper back is strong as hell. Best way to do this is with a seated cable row, hammer strength row, or band row, done on the daily for high repetitions. Just pump it out every single day. You can do a classic 4x25. Hell, just treating it as GPP work is excellent as well. So it's all about accumulating that total workload. Imagine what you're doing by the end of the week, the end of the month, heck, the end of the year. It's all synergistic, my friend, especially when you combine everything what I talked about previously, using the proper form, getting the strength standards in, getting that high volume in. And then while we're on that same topic, like, would this not act as a form of nucleus overload? A concept that was created by Megan of Team 3D Alpha. He's back on YouTube, by the way. Check out his channel. This is basically the idea of training a muscle group every single day to increase the nuclei within that muscle cell, therefore making it easier to build. Fascinating ideology, and if that is true, well, then obviously the high frequency rows, provided that's not impeding your ability to recover, is only beneficial. And on that note, I would tell you to also do daily pull-ups. Time tested by millions of convicts all over the world. And we know that this is an effective movement. We know that if you get very strong in this exercise, your back's automatically going to be big for the most part. Might be lagging in a few key areas, but you're going to look amazing. Imagine if you do your body weight for 1 rep max, which is not unrealistic. I've done it on this channel, and we'll probably go even higher than that. But yeah, lower back. Actually, that's the last point I want to talk about. Training your spinal erector is like a motherfucker. You can't afford to have this weakness. A weak lower back will hinder your upper back's potential because you'll never be able to maximize your strength capacity. You can't do it. That's why people who get injured in the lower back typically have a more difficult time building up their upper. Talk to anyone who's been snapped up, they're going to say the exact same thing. Obviously, you can still build, but you're going to have to compensate by doing a lot more exercises and being very creative with your exercise selection. Obviously, doing things that may not be as efficient. So that still works, but it's not the best way. It's not the optimal way. If you're strong in the lower, number one, that's going to enhance your appearance. The spinal erector's popping out looks fucking badass. When you turn around, it's just there. When you're sideways, you can see it. Hell, when you bend over, you're doing barbell rolls, like just that mass, even when you deadlift, like it looks really, really good. That's a key feature that a lot of guys don't have. So doing a lot of lower back work will give you that amazing Christmas tree, but at the same time, prevent you from getting injured, which means you could do more work on the exercise that count, on the effective compound movements that have been time tested. So if you're able to lift heavier while having more total workload, while doing it in a safe way, isn't that exactly what's going to fix our lagging backs? So I would strongly recommend that you include hyperextensions, reverse hyperextensions, and even good mornings. Do a lot of rep work on that, and I guarantee you that those spinal erectors are going to catch up, which is going to help you push past your perceived limits. And that's really all there is to it, man. Every tip that I talked about in today's video, all synergistic. They go together. It's going to fix the problem. I guarantee you that this is going to work. So wishing you the best of gains. Let me know if you want a part 2, because there's a lot that I could say about the back, one of my favorite muscle groups. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video.